7 planets, 7 deaths. We start at Mercury and work our way out, no detours. Mercury is the closest planet to the Sun, which you'd think would make it the hottest planet in the solar system. It doesn't. That title belongs to Venus, and we'll get to why that's terrifying in a moment. But Mercury does hold a different record, the most violent temperature swings of any planet we've ever found, and that alone is more than enough to kill you several times over, depending on where you land. Here's the situation. Mercury has almost no atmosphere, no thick blanket of gas to trap heat, no insulation of any kind. So, during the day, when the sun is hammering the surface from just 58 million kilometers away, which is 3 times closer than Earth, the temperature climbs to 430 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt lead. Hot enough that the water in your body would vaporize before you finished processing. The fact that something had gone wrong. But Mercury rotates incredibly slowly. One single day on Mercury lasts 176 Earth days, so the sun-facing side gets cooked continuously, without a break, for nearly 6 months at a time. Then night falls, and without any atmosphere to hold the heat, the temperature crashes to minus 180 degrees Celsius. So your death on Mercury is essentially a coin flip. Land on the day side, you burn. Land on the night side, you freeze instantly, solid, before you take a second step. Land at the exact boundary between day and night, the thin strip of Mercury, and you're now standing in the full unfiltered blast of solar radiation with zero magnetic field to protect you. Mercury doesn't have one method, it has a menu, and every item ends the same way. Venus is roughly the same size as Earth, same mass, same distance from the sun, roughly speaking. Venus has a surface temperature of 465 degrees Celsius. Billions of years ago, Venus developed a thick CO2 atmosphere. But here's what actually kills you first, and it's not the heat. The moment you arrive at Venus's surface, you are standing in atmospheric pressure. Your lungs cannot expand. You die quickly. You would not last 127 minutes. Mars is the planet we've actually decided to go to. Mars has an atmosphere that is about 1% as thick as Earth's. That sounds like a small number, but it is enough of a difference that the moment you step outside, without a suit, the pressure is so low that the oxygen dissolved in your blood begins to form bubbles inside your veins. This process has a name, ebulism, and it is exactly as bad as it sounds. Your blood boils, not from heat, from the absence of pressure keeping it in a liquid state. You are dead within minutes. There is no pain because you are already unconscious, but here is the part that no one talks about. If your body was left on the Martian surface, it would not decompose. But then, the Martian night hits. Temperatures drop to minus 125 degrees Celsius. Everything stops. Your body freezes completely solid. Researchers who study this estimate that if a body was buried just a few meters beneath the Martian surface, the bones could survive for up to 100 million years. Mars kills you in 15 seconds, then keeps your remains preserved as a fossil for longer than mammals have existed on Earth. Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system. It is so large that every other planet could fit inside it with room left over. It has a storm, the Great Red Spot, that has been raging continuously for at least 350 years and is larger than the entire Earth. It also has no surface. There is no ground on Jupiter, no solid layer of any kind. It is gas all the way down for tens of thousands of kilometers until the pressure becomes so extreme that the gas behaves like liquid. It means you don't land on Jupiter. You fall into it. And the fall is a very specific kind of terrible. You enter the upper atmosphere in white ammonia clouds, temperatures around minus 150 degrees Celsius. You are falling at 2.5 times Earth's gravity. Below you, a second cloud layer of brown ammonium hydrosulfide swallows what little light is left. It smells like rotten eggs. You do not have time to appreciate this. A third cloud layer appears. Water ice, massive thunderstorms, lightning bolts firing around you that are 1,000 times more powerful than anything ever recorded on Earth. This is where you die, but your remains don't stop. They keep falling. No signal can reach you. No recovery mission is physically possible. You become a permanent, undisturbed feature of Jupiter's interior. Forever. Saturn is the planet people put on posters, the rings, the soft gold atmosphere. By any objective measure, it is the most visually beautiful planet in the solar system. People get it tattooed on their arms. Those people should know what's inside it. Even getting close to Saturn is a problem. The planet is surrounded by radiation belts, high-energy particles from the sun trapped by Saturn's magnetic field that would deliver a lethal radiation dose before you even got close enough to see the rings in detail. That alone disqualifies Saturn from being visited by any unprotected human. But let's assume you made it through. Saturn's atmosphere has sustained winds of 1,800 kilometers per hour. For reference, the fastest wind speed ever recorded on Earth was around 400. Commercial aircraft cruise at about 900. Saturn's winds are not a storm that comes and goes. They are not a weather event. They are just the planet, existing at all times, moving at speeds that dwarf anything our atmosphere has ever produced. These winds don't just push a human body. They create forces powerful enough to tear different parts of you in different directions simultaneously. There is no surviving this and no way to prepare for it. And then, just like Jupiter, there is no surface. You fall. The pressure climbs. The temperature near Saturn's core is estimated at around 15,000 degrees Fahrenheit, roughly twice the temperature of the sun's visible surface. You would never reach it. Saturn's atmosphere is mostly hydrogen and helium, with very little carbon dioxide, which means that as you were being torn apart and then compressed into nothing. Uranus. Here is a fact almost nobody knows. Uranus is not the farthest planet from the sun. Neptune is. But Uranus is the coldest planet in the solar system. Its atmosphere drops to minus 224 degrees Celsius. Colder than Neptune, colder than anything else in this region of space. Colder than most places in the known universe that aren't actively in deep interstellar space. Step into Uranus's atmosphere unprotected. The temperature is so far below anything survivable that the gap between alive and not alive closes in seconds. Then the falling begins. Winds of up to 900 kilometers per hour move through the atmosphere. Not Saturn's catastrophic 1,800, but more than enough to be relevant if you were still a body in any meaningful sense. The pressure builds as you descend. The strange thing about Uranus, and this is genuinely strange, is that the deeper you go, the warmer it gets. The core is estimated to reach temperatures of 5,000 degrees Celsius, so your frozen remains would, over the course of an endless descent, begin to melt, and then compress under pressures that exist nowhere else in human experience, becoming something that doesn't have a name in any language. Uranus kills you instantly, then slowly transforms what's left into something unrecognizable. It is the quietest, most efficient planet on this list. Neptune is 4.5 billion kilometers from the sun. Light from the sun, which travels at 300,000 kilometers per second, takes 4 hours to reach Neptune. Standing in Neptune's upper atmosphere, you would see the sun not as the blazing star we know, but as a bright dot, barely distinguishable from the other stars, just slightly more aggressive. It is the most remote place in our solar system, the last planet, and it holds the most extreme wind speed ever measured on any planetary body in the solar system, 2,100 kilometers per hour. Commercial aircraft cruise at around 900. The fastest military jets ever built top out near 3,500. Neptune sits at 2,100, sustained, constant, unrelenting, wrapping around the entire planet with no land mass to slow it down, no friction to bleed off any energy. Just open atmosphere, moving at speeds your body has no response to. These winds don't carry you away. The difference in force between your front and your back, between your head and your feet, is large enough to create shear forces, forces that pull different parts of you in different directions at the same time. Your body comes apart, not slowly. The temperature at Neptune's cloud tops is minus 214 degrees Celsius. Neptune generates more heat internally than it receives from the sun. The planet produces its own warmth from somewhere deep inside at a scale that surprised scientists when they first measured it. The source of this internal heat is not fully understood. It exists, it is significant, and nobody has a complete explanation for it, which means that as you fell into Neptune, already dead from 2,100 kilometers per hour winds, in total darkness, 4 hours away from any sunlight, at the edge of the solar system, you would eventually, impossibly, start to get warmer. From a heat source that science has not fully explained. The last planet, the coldest sky, the fastest winds, the most unexplained interior. Neptune doesn't just kill you, it kills you at the farthest edge of everything we can reach. In conditions scientists are still working to understand. In a darkness so deep that the sun looks like just another star. So, to recap, Mercury burns you or freezes you, depending on where you land, and irradiates you in the middle. Venus crushes you, then cooks what's left. Mars boils your blood quietly in 15 seconds and then keeps your bones for 100 million years. Jupiter suspends your remains forever in an abyss no one will ever reach. Saturn shreds you in 1,800 kilometers per hour, wins and then finishes with pressure. Uranus freezes you instantly and then silently transforms you into something unnameable. And Neptune tears you apart at the edge of the solar system in the fastest winds ever recorded, above a heat source nobody fully understands. We live on the one planet in this solar system where none of that happens. Just something to think about.